Hey guys, it is Nick here with another Next Topics Walking Dead What If topic video for you guys today. And today, before we start, hope you guys like my new picture for my intros and basically the cover for my channel. I figured since Black Frieza was recently introduced a few months ago to the Dragon Ball Super manga, and how cool some people have made him look across the internet, that'd be a way cooler thumbnail for me. With that out of the way, we are going on to part 13 of What If Lori Survived. Now, we left off last time with Gabriel at the junkyard. Pretty much that lead up goes per normal. And then we get to the scene where Rick and the group would make the deal with the scavengers. And suffice it to say, the scavengers are still stubborn, so to speak. Pretty much it goes per normal. And they want guns and such before they actually agree to fight. Meanwhile, back at the kingdom, Daryl and Richard still have their little interactions. Richard wants Daryl's help. They figure out that the stuff that Richard stashes at Carol's hut. Daryl and Richard fight. Pretty much all of that happening per normal. Then we get to the scene where Daryl and Carol meet once again at Carol's hut. Daryl tells her what happened, except the fact that Abraham and Glenn died. He doesn't tell her that. Pretty much all of that goes the same way that it did before. Except, I feel that for Daryl meeting up with Carol, at least that part, Beth would be there too. Because I don't see her being around for the Daryl and Richard thing, at least not until Daryl and Carol meet up again. So, little change there, and then they both go back to Hilltop instead of it just being Daryl. Meanwhile, back at the sanctuary, Negan is introducing Eugene around, and Eugene making the idea for the walkers and such, that going per normal. Then we get to the scene where originally Rick and Michonne went to the carnival, found that big stash of weapons and food and such, and all that stuff playing out. Except this time, it's Rick and Lori going, because remember, Lori's still alive here, still a thing with Rick, and Michonne would probably just be with Tyrese, because, as I said in previous episodes, I threw a little nod to the comics, making them a couple. While Rick and Lori are getting those weapons and such, and about to make the deal with the scavengers, Rosita and Sasha are still making their own plan to kill Negan for what he did to Abraham, because he still died. Tyrese, of course, finds out about this, being alive, and tries to talk Sasha out of it, because he remembers what happened whenever Bob died, what place Sasha was in, even though it happened later down the line and not in the church like the original. But Sasha says that with Rosita's help, it can be done, and it's just something that needs to be done. Now, with Tyrese alive, and like most of my other stories, Sasha's fate will not be decided at the sanctuary, or rather at the gates of Alexandria when we saw that she was dead in the original. So for those of you thinking that this is still going to happen, I'd think twice. A little spoiler alert. Back at the kingdom, Benjamin is still shot because that all led up the same way, and dies, leading to Morgan finding out about what Richard did and killing him personally, because I ultimately see no way around most of these events happening like they did before. After this, Morgan once again goes crazy, because even with Lori having interactions with him and such, it's still not going to stop him from acting like he did then. After that, Morgan and Carol have the same interaction that they did before, with Morgan telling Carol what really happened to Abraham and Glenn, and that Rick and them want to fight the Saviors and such. Then we cut to the hilltop, where the Saviors once again popped up there to look for Daryl, but this time, since the governor is around and he escaped too, they're looking for two people. And the governor's still in Alexandria, moving around from house to house, even of the outskirts, just to stay hidden, because he was persistent not to be left at the kingdom. we get a little reunion with Daryl, Beth, and Maggie, and them hiding from the Saviors. Back at Alexandria, Heath, since he went to Oceanside and discovered it instead of Tara because she was still with Alicia before she was killed, and they were a couple, Heath is the one that went to Oceanside, and now comes clean about the whereabouts of Oceanside and what they have. And I actually, like I said before, threw Heath a little bone here, unlike the original series. Now, Rick and his group taking the guns from Oceanside and having their interactions with the people there pretty much play out the same, except Heath is the one to take the lead on the certain case, except besides Tara. Now, back at the sanctuary, Sasha, I feel, would still save Rosita's life by locking her out, so that way she would get captured alone by Negan and no one else had to. Negan, once again, like the original, meets her in her cell and says that she's going to help solve things with Rick and his people. Back at Alexandria, Dwight appears like he did before, and this time it's a lot less serious because Tara and Denise weren't a thing, so that little hate there that Daryl had for him in that aspect is gone. But Daryl, I feel, would still threaten him and attack him. It wouldn't be Tara this time, egging him on to try and kill him, because I feel that Daryl would still do this because of what Dwight did to him at the sanctuary and for betraying him. It all leads up to the Scavengers and Rick's group about to have an all-out war with the Saviors at the end of Season 7. And lo and behold, the Scavengers turn on Rick and his people. And it's all revealed that they made an extra deal with Negan and the Saviors. Negan then makes his appearance known with Eugene and all the other Saviors, and Negan basically gives that whole speech and everything, making fun of Rick and such, except just with a lot more people included. He then states that Sasha is alive and in the casket which she was before. But will this go the same way that it did before? Or will Rick's group actually have this more in the bag? And that's where we leave things for the moment. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Hope you guys are enjoying What If Laurie Survived as a whole. Hope you guys enjoy my new photo there. What are your thoughts? Leave a comment, and I will see you guys next time.